today for Yin Yoga. Sorry, I'm running just a minute late here. My friend Carrie of Kerpow was not able to make it today, so I found a playlist with some pan music to accompany us. We're going to be doing the same flow today that we did on Tuesday morning at 8:30 if you tuned in with us. It's just a great flow for connecting more with our moon cycles and our bodies in that aspect. A little bit more of a cooler feminine practice. I'm going to give you a moment to grab props and drinks if you would like. Tea or water is always recommended. Fluids help you move things in your body and eliminate what is no longer useful for you. And I also recommend having something you can manipulate with your hands if you run into any sticky spots where your mind is just like, just finding a distraction can kind of help us move through those easier without beating ourselves up and everything else. And also I recommend stiffer blankets such as this, or maybe a big beach towel or a stiff pillow to use as a prop if you feel like you need it, if your body is screaming for a little extra support anywhere in this practice. That being said, I'll go ahead and give you a couple minutes to find those props and fluids if you would like, and then we will start with our practice. And we'll go ahead and get started here. We're just going to spend a couple minutes connecting in with the breath and the body, making some mild movements just to bring ourselves into this practice. Yin Yoga, if you have not joined us before, really is looking at releasing our larger muscle systems that hold us upright and support us throughout the day, and getting into the deep connective tissue around the joints in the body. That being said, it also is a fairly introspective practice. We'll be holding some of these postures in silence for a longer period of time. Not super long, but it can feel long for 3 minutes to be sitting somewhere uncomfortable. So that being said, the breath is always a good place to come back to when you're feeling that way. So that's where we're going to start, is really finding our connection to that. So we'll find a comfortable seated posture. Easy pose or Sukhasana are perfect. Grounding down into the sit bones, really lengthening up through the crown of the head. And we'll start to take some really deep breaths through the nose down into the belly, letting it expand from the belly up to the top of the chest. This is using your diaphragm muscle to breathe instead of just your lungs, and it forces the air down into the bottom of your lung. And as we're exhaling, we're really going to work to push the belly in towards the spine, getting any last little bits of air that are trapped in there out. And with that next exhale, we're going to go ahead and drop the chin down to the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And we'll use an inhale to roll one ear to the shoulder, holding there. We'll breathe into any tension that we're feeling in the neck or in the shoulders. Really allowing the breath to become a massage for tension. Realizing that the breath can carry away a lot of things that are trapped in our muscular system. And with the exhale, we're going to release the chin back down to the chest. Inhaling to roll to the opposite side. Hold, finding the breath. Listening to its sounds, its sensations. Exhale, release the chin back to chest, inhaling the head back up through neutral. Take a moment here, and then we're going to use that next inhale to circle, sweep the arms up overhead, opening the chest, pressing the shoulders down the back. And with the next exhale, we're going to forward fold, walking the hands out as far as we can reach. We're going to start to push back through the seat, really lengthening the lower back. And we'll release the neck and the shoulders, the head. And just sinking down. You might even close the eyes here. Connecting in with the self. Noticing any sensations we're feeling throughout the body. Hearing the breath. If we're sitting in easy pose or with the legs crossed, we're going to switch the direction we have them crossed now, drawing the other foot forward, finding the sit bones the grounding down through the root, lifting up through the crown, finding the breath. And we'll use that next inhale to circle, sweep the arms up overhead. With the exhale, twisting to one side. And we'll lengthen up through the spine with the inhale. With the exhale, maybe we can go a little bit deeper. We're going to work to peel the shoulder open behind us so that we can expand our view rather than kinking the neck, trying to look over the shoulder. Nice deep breaths into the belly here. Really massaging our organs, bringing blood flow into the digestive system. And with that next exhale, we'll come back forward. Inhaling to circle, sweep arms overhead. And with the exhale, we'll twist to the opposite side. Again, inhaling to lengthen up. Exhaling, maybe we can go deeper. Healing that shoulder open. Really expanding our view. Nice deep belly breaths. And with that next exhale, we're going to release back forward. Inhaling, arms up, expanding, opening the chest. And with that exhale, forward fold again. We'll walk the hands out as far as we can reach. Pushing back through the seat, really lengthening the lower back. We'll release the head, the neck, the shoulders. Sinking down in, maybe closing the eyes, finding that moment of introspect. And with that next inhale, we'll go ahead and walk it back up. The first posture we're going to come into is a Yogi Squat. So we'll go ahead and we'll plant our hands on the floor in front of us, about shoulder width apart. We're going to roll over the shins, coming onto the feet. We want to be flat-footed here. And really what's most important, aside from being comfortable, is trying to find alignment that our knees and our feet are pointing in the same direction. I just want you to be comfortable though. Some people will be more comfortable to have their feet facing forward. Some people, like myself, I have wider hips. I've had 4 kids. It's more comfortable for me to point my feet outward. We're going to be here for a while, so just make sure you're comfortable. If you're feeling like this is a lot of work on your hips and your legs, you can roll up this blanket however high you need it and bring it underneath your bum for some additional support. Once we've found what feels comfortable in our feet, we're going to drop the tail down towards the floor, trying to lift up through the chest, lengthening out of the crown of the head. We'll bring the hands to heart center. We might bring the elbows to the outside of the knees if that feels comfortable. And we'll come back to that breath. We're going to hold here for a couple minutes. plant the hands on the floor, straightening the legs. We might, if our feet were pointing outward, start to shift the toes forward. We're going to grasp opposite elbows, hanging loose here, coming into a dangling forward fold. We're going to gently rock from side to side, maybe putting a bend in the knees, kind of softening the body. Allowing the head, the neck, and the shoulders to hang loose. The thighs will gently support the upper body. Release the hands down to the floor. We're going to make our way down onto our mat. Our next posture is baby dragon. If full dragon coming into full splits is in your practice, feel free to take that option. So we're going to basically come into a low lunge, but we're not really worrying here about stacking knee over ankle. We're going to let that front foot slide forward as far as it wants to here, really pulling the hips apart in opposite directions. We're just going to set down into the hips. We'll come flat onto the hands, spreading the fingers wide to take weight off of the wrists, and we're just going to hold here. Letting that thigh support the upper body. Finding the breath. Walk that front foot back however we can. Coming into a low lunge where the knee actually is stacked over the ankle. And we're going to shift that weight backward, coming into a runner's lunge to counterbalance this pose. So we're going to stack this back hip over top of the knee. We're really going to work to draw this extended leg back up into its hip socket, squaring the hips. We'll draw the toes backward and extend the upper body out over that leg as much as we possibly can. Bending down in. And if we want to go a little bit deeper here, increasing the stretch, we can turn the big toe inward. And we'll extend that opposite leg forward, stretching it out as far as is comfortable for us. Really sitting down into the hips. Again, we want to come flat onto the mat with our hands, spreading those fingers wide, taking weight off of the wrists. This creates kind of a cup with the hand, palm of the hand when we spread it wide like that. Extend that upper body over the leg, letting the thighs support the belly and the chest. We'll just sink in, coming back to the breath. You might notice that throughout the practice, I rock from side to side and kind of sway. That's a way I've noticed my body responds well to some of these postures. And that little bit of mild movement helps me kind of go a little bit deeper sometimes. Or it just takes my mind off of whatever's going on that's uncomfortable in the body if I have nowhere else to go. If you're finding this posture is creating a lot of stress on that back knee, you can always bring the blanket under the knee or a cushion. And with that next inhale, we're going to go ahead and walk that foot back up. Again, coming into the low lunge with the knee stacked over the ankle. And we're going to shift the weight back. Coming onto that back knee, hip over knee. And we'll pull that front leg back into the hip socket, really squaring up the hips here, drawing the toes back towards you. And we'll fold over that leg as deep as we feel comfortable. And if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, we'll roll that big toe inward. Go ahead and release, bringing that leg back. We're going to bring the feet and the knees together here. Sitting back on the heels, we're going to set up for child's pose. There's many ways we can go about this. If you feel a lot of tension in the knee, we can bring our blanket underneath our bum, rolled up or spread out as much as you need, to give a little lift and take some of that tightness off of the knee. If you're actually feeling it under the knee from the weight of your body, you can bring the blanket under your knees here. We're going to fold over the body or the knees here. So if your body kind of stops here because you're tighter in the lower back, you might roll up the blanket or stack the hands and the fists on top of one another for support for the head. Wherever you need to be, we'll come there now. And we're going to reach the hands around behind us. Or we're going to reach for the ankles, for the heels, for the outside of the foot. Whatever feels right. You might even just let the palms be facing up on the floor next to the feet. We'll start to take some deep breaths into the lower back, into the chest, through the shoulder blades. Feeling the tension release with the exhales. Use that next inhale to bring the hands under the shoulders, pushing back up. We're going to go ahead and come down onto the sit bones now. Taking a seat. We're going to draw one leg in front of us, bringing the opposite leg back for half frog. We want to try to find a 90-degree angle in the groin area here. And if we can, we want to bring the foot out enough to bring one at the knee as well. If you're feeling like you're really leaning in this direction towards that extended leg, you can bring your blanket prop underneath the hip here, giving you some lift and letting you really sit down into your groin area, stretching the hamstring and the groin. Or if you're feeling a lot of tension on your knee here, you can also flatten out your blanket and bring it underneath the knees, adding a little bit of cushion. That being said, once you have your prop in place, if you feel like you really need that extra support, we're going to lift up and we're going to come square onto the sit bone of this extended leg, letting that support us so that we can lengthen up. We're really going to lengthen up, and with the exhale, we're going to fold forward, extending over this leg. Holding down in as much as we can. If this is really uncomfortable for you, it was when I first started this practice. Come back to that mala or that smooth stone, the thing that you chose for manipulation with your hands. We'll come come back to the breath. Deep inhales, thorough exhales. And we'll go ahead and walk that back up, releasing the back leg forward. And we'll come to the opposite side, drawing the leg back, looking for our 90-degree angles, using any props necessary. We'll lift up, coming onto the sit bone. Noticing if there's any sensations that feel different on this side than did on the other side, and maybe coming back to the way you carry yourself throughout the day, how you sit at your desk, maybe how you stand when you're cooking dinner. All of those things do take a toll on our bodies over time. With that being said, we're going to take a nice deep inhale in, lifting up through the crown of the head. With the exhale, we're going to fold forward over that extended leg, coming back to the breath. Nice deep inhales into the belly. Exhaling completely. And with that inhale, we're going to walk it back up, releasing that back leg forward. We'll give a little shake just to loosen anything in the hips out. We're going to draw the soles of the feet together now, coming into butterfly. If you're feeling really like you're tight in the hips here and being kind of unsuccessful at releasing and allowing the knees to drop, you can bring your blanket under the hips here, boosting yourself up a little bit, and sometimes having the hips higher than the feet can allow that little bit of extra release. Another technique more mental, I guess, it's still physical, but I was trained in ballet when I was a kid to hold my feet together, but if you really allow your feet to peel apart like a book, it allows the knees to drop in, because the knees and the ankles and the hips all kind of work together. So that being said, we're going to let those feet fall apart. The knees drop down into wherever is comfortable. We'll take a nice deep breath, lengthening up. And with the exhale, we're going to start to fold forward as far as our body will fall down in. We're going to release the tension in the neck and the shoulders, just hanging out here. Really pushing down through the seat, lengthening the lower back, feeling those connective tissues pulling away from the spine. And with the inhale, we're going to walk that back up. We're going to release the legs out. Maybe we'll give a little shake. And next, we're going to move into Dragonfly, spreading the legs apart to a wide-legged straddle. Again, I like to lift myself up so I come down onto my sit bones. You can also prop up on this one if you're feeling really tight with your blanket, bringing it underneath your bum to give you a little bit of a lift. It is okay also if you're feeling like one or both of your hamstrings are super tight, you can roll up this blanket and bring it under the knee for support, really taking some of the pressure off the hamstring. Remember, the idea is that our larger muscle groups are going to relax so we can stretch the deeper connective tissues. So once we've found our wide-legged straddle, we'll take that nice deep inhale, lengthening up out of the spine. And with the exhale, we're going to forward fold, finding that edge wherever it is, feeling the connective tissue in the lower back pulling. Really coming back to the breath. Letting the sounds and sensations of the breath guide us. Help us release things that are no longer serving us. Helping us release tension in the body. That next inhale, we'll go ahead and walk back up. We're going to release onto the back now. We'll draw the knees into the chest, giving them a hug. We might gently rock from side to side. We might even start to draw some circles with the knees. If we're doing that, we might switch directions now.
Ready? Walking down there. Walking down there, come on. Yeah.
And we're going to let the arms fall out to the sides in a T. We're going to cross one leg over top of the opposite. And then we're going to let the legs fall in the direction of that lower leg. We'll keep the shoulders glued to the mat. And we're going to let the gaze fall away from the direction of the legs. We might bring the hand on top of the knees here, creating a little bit more space in the lower back. And we'll breathe in nice deep belly breaths, full exhales. And we're going to bring the knees back up to chest, giving it a little hug in. We'll let the arms fall back to a T, crossing them in the opposite direction, and we're going to let them fall towards the bottom leg, keeping the shoulder glued to the mat, the gaze falling away from the legs, maybe bringing the hand on top of the knees. Adding some weight, creating more length in the lower back. And we'll go ahead and inhale the knees back up to chest. We'll give them one more hug in, rocking back and forth. Maybe drawing a couple circles if that feels good for you. And we'll let the legs come down to the mat. We're going to spread them wide, just outside the mat. Arms coming overhead. Again, we're going to spread them nice and wide, coming into pentacle. This will be our resting place for Shavasana. We're going to wiggle the toes and the fingers, letting out energy trapped in the body, walking the shoulders down the back. Maybe gently closing the eyes or bringing the gaze towards the tip of the nose. We'll come back to the breath. A nice deep inhale into the nose, letting the belly fill completely. And with the exhale, we'll soften the jaw, the chest, the belly and the hips, the knees and the ankles. Another nice deep inhale. And with this next exhale, we'll release our thoughts, letting them come and go, holding no attachment to them, knowing we can come back to them later. One more nice deep inhale into the belly, filling it all the way. And with this next exhale, we will sink completely, fully into our mat, letting it become a safe place, letting it hold us, cradle us, protect us through this restful time. We're going to start to wiggle the toes and the fingers, bring the energy back to the body. going to slide the feet together, sliding the hands together overhead, coming into a full body stretch, growing as long as you possibly can, from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And finally, we're going to roll to the right side of the body, cradling the head, resting here for just a moment. Maybe taking this time to reflect on this practice, the sounds and sensations of the body. How did this feel for you? And we'll use that next inhale to push ourselves back up, finding a comfortable seated posture. We're going to end our practice with some pranayama, mantra, and mudra. The pranayama that we're going to practice today is lion's breath. It is really great for cleansing the body and bringing fire back to the body after such a cooling practice without a lot of movement and whatnot. We are going to do this in our comfortable seated position, whatever is comfortable for you in your practice. Some people like to practice this kneeling. We're just going to do what feels right for us today. We're going to be taking inhales through the nose and forcing that air out the mouth, making a sound. But we're going to use the stomach to create this action by really quickly pressing the belly button into the spine. We're going to force that air out. It'll be a so when we're forcing that air out, it's going to come out of the mouth, and we're going to stick the tongue out, letting the air come across the tongue. We might even try to reach the tongue towards the chin. We're going to bring the gaze towards the third eye, in between the eyebrows, upward, or you can look upward and close the eyes gently. We're going to bring the arms up to cactus, really spreading the fingers wide, gathering as much energy through the hands as we can. That being said, we're going to take that first nice deep inhale. Again, inhaling. And one more time, inhaling. Go ahead and release the hands, coming back to a normal breath. And the mudra we'll practice today is Lotus Mudra. We're going to bring the wrists together, gathering the pinkies and the thumbs, letting the other fingers spread wide like a cup. And during this mantra mudra session, we'll just imagine all the light and love and beneficial energy that we can muster filling our cup. The mantra we'll be practicing today is Om Mani Padme Om. This is really a praise to that light and love, that jewel that is in our cup or lotus. Om Mani Padme Om. Om Mani Padme Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll take a moment to feel the vibrations, to let energy resonate through our bodies, through our minds, through our hearts. We'll use that next inhale to allow our lotus to rise up. Again, filling it with everything beneficial for ourselves and that which is around us, allowing the lotus to grow from the murky waters. And as the hands come overhead, we're gently going to push all the fingers together, coming back to the Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. We'll allow the hands to float to the forehead to honor right thought, to the lips to honor right speech, and to the heart to honor right action. I hope this practice filled you with light and love and everything positive to carry you through the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next week, Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, or on next Thursday at 3 p.m. again Pacific Standard Time. And hopefully Miss Carrie of Kerpow will be back with us then. Anyways, we'll see you later. Have a good day. Bye.